Imagine the shock. Could the President of the United States really uproot the World Cup from its planned host cities? This eye-opening question has sparked heated debates, and we're here to unpack the realities behind Donald Trump's bold statements. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump's threats seem tied not just to safety, but to political divides, raising eyebrows about whether sports should mix with government agendas. Let's explore the details, step by step, breaking it down for everyone, even if you're new to the world of international soccer tournaments. First off, what exactly did Trump utter in these conversations? This isn't his first rodeo on the topic. On Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, marked the second occasion where the U.S. president hinted at relocating World Cup matches away from certain American cities due to their leadership or stance against his policies. It's crucial to point out that these ideas didn't come from Trump spontaneously. Instead, they were responses to probing questions from journalists who steered the discussion toward the possibility of shifting games. Back on September 25th, during an event in the Oval Office, a White House reporter inquired about cities protesting Trump's deployment of federal agencies to tackle immigration and crime issues. They specifically named Seattle and San Francisco as examples of such places, noting that both are slated to host World Cup events. Though San Francisco itself isn't a direct host, games will take place at Levi's Stadium in nearby Santa Clara, within the San Francisco Bay Area. The journalist then posed whether these protests might lead to the games being pulled from those locations. Trump's reply was measured but pointed. "I guess, but we're going to make sure they're safe," he stated, referencing the sources from The Guardian. He added, "They're run by radical left lunatics and that don't know what they're doing." Shortly after, he assured that Chicago would be secure for the World Cup once he sends in federal forces, similar to his approach in Washington, D.C., even though Chicago isn't officially a host city for the 2026 tournament. He elaborated, "If any city we think is going to be even a little bit dangerous for the World Cup, we won't allow it to go to it. We'll move it around a little bit." Fast forward 3 weeks to October 14th, when Trump addressed another host area, Boston, Massachusetts, where matches will actually occur in the suburb of Foxborough. During a press gathering that day, a reporter brought up a recent street takeover incident in Boston, where police were assaulted and a patrol car was set on fire, questioning if this could jeopardize Boston's role in hosting the expanded 48-team soccer championship. They also asked if Trump would collaborate with Boston's Democratic mayor, Michelle Wu, to resolve the matter. Trump responded emphatically, "We could take them away," referring to the World Cup games. "Their mayor is not good. She's radical left, and they're taking over part." While they've caused disruptions in various U.S. cities, including violent episodes in Massachusetts like Boston, they're not typically linked to specific political views and haven't been flagged as major threats to World Cup visitors' safety. Trump went on to say, "If someone is doing a bad job and I feel there's unsafe conditions, I would call Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, who is phenomenal, and say, let's move it to another location. And he would do that. He wouldn't love to do it, but he'd do it. Very easily he'd do that." In the same session, Trump also hinted for the first time at potentially relocating the 2028 Olympics from Los Angeles. "If I thought LA was not going to be prepared properly, I would move it to another location if I had to," he remarked. "On that one, I'd probably have to get a different kind of a permission, but we would do that." Now, does the U.S. president wield any real authority over the World Cup or Olympics? In a nutshell, no, not on his own. For the World Cup, hosting agreements are contracts between FIFA, the international soccer governing body, and local city governments. These are private business deals involving public entities, so the president can't simply cancel them unilaterally without broader involvement. That said, Trump could exert influence by pressuring parties to withdraw if he's serious about relocating events. This might involve cutting off federal funding to those cities, as he's done in other policy areas. He could also lobby FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, who has built a strong rapport with Trump since his return to office. And this is the part most people miss. While the president lacks direct control, his political leverage could complicate things for host cities, especially if they oppose his agenda. So could FIFA genuinely shift World Cup games from spots like Boston or Seattle? Theoretically, yes, we can say with confidence, thanks to the public release of Seattle's hosting agreement. It includes a specific clause numbered 4.5, outlining conditions for potentially revoking a city's status. This clause requires host cities to undertake costly measures to boost public safety, such as extra security deployments, transportation enhancements, and financial responsibilities. FIFA could invoke this if they determine safety standards are inadequate. However, it's improbable in practice. The 2026 World Cup is an enormous logistical challenge, spanning 3 nations and 16 cities. With more teams than ever, scheduling matches, managing travel, and coordinating everything is tough enough without suddenly altering venues or reducing them, especially so near the event's start. Host cities might even pursue legal action to protect their rights. What role does the U.S. government play in these massive events? Up to now, it's been largely supportive, or in Trump's case, cautionary. Earlier this year, Trump assembled a World Cup task force led by Andrew Giuliani, tasked with facilitating comprehensive planning, organization, and execution of the largest sporting events in the history of mankind. The federal government also handles visa approvals for international visitors, but processing delays have grown so severe that many worry attendees won't get visas in time. On the security front, expect federal agencies like the FBI, Homeland Security, and ICE to assist local police in host cities, adding an extra protective layer for the crowds. How has FIFA reacted to all this? FIFA President Gianni Infantino has remained silent publicly on Trump's warnings. Interestingly, he did make a point to join Trump at a Gaza summit in Egypt, a surprising gesture for someone whose job revolves around sports. But FIFA Vice President Victor Montagliani from Canada was more outspoken at a London conference in early October, directly addressing Trump's remarks about Seattle and San Francisco. It's FIFA's tournament, FIFA's jurisdiction. FIFA makes those decisions, Montagliani declared. With all due respect to current world leaders, football is bigger than them, and football will survive their regime and their government and their slogans. That's the beauty of our game, that it is bigger than any individual and bigger than any country. A FIFA spokesperson echoed this to Politico, stating, "Safety and security are of the utmost importance at all FIFA events worldwide, and it is ultimately the government's responsibility to decide what's in the best interest of public safety." We hope every one of our 16 host cities will be ready to fulfill all necessary requirements for a successful 2026 World Cup. Beyond FIFA, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu countered Trump's comments by emphasizing that many hosting contracts are locked down by contract so that no single person, even if they live in the White House currently, can undo it. She added, "We're in a world where for drama, for control, for pushing the boundaries, ongoing threats are issued to individuals and communities who refuse to back down and comply or be obedient to a hateful agenda." This sparks debate. Is Wu's characterization fair? Or is Trump's focus on safety a valid concern? Have major sporting events been relocated in the past? Yes, but only under extreme circumstances like health crises, wars, or significant political turmoil. For instance, The 2003 Women's World Cup was the most recent senior tournament shifted. It was set for China, but moved to the U.S. amid the SARS outbreak. FIFA also withdrew the 2023 Under-20 World Cup from Indonesia after government officials and citizens objected to Israel's participation, given Indonesia's lack of diplomatic ties with Israel and its support for Palestine. Indonesia later hosted the U17 World Cup when Peru backed out. As for the Olympics, they've been canceled during wars or delayed, such as the 2020 Tokyo Games due to COVID-19. But host cities haven't changed since 1908, when a volcanic eruption in Mount Vesuvius forced the Rome Olympics to London. Why does Trump keep linking safety to these events? It's probably because safety has become a hallmark of his administration. He's used it as justification to send in the National Guard, ICE, and other agencies to cities like Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Given that any large gathering, particularly one as colossal as the World Cup, naturally raises real security concerns, it's a straightforward angle for his team to emphasize. What if the federal government decides to step in? That could be the ultimate test, couldn't it? In other areas where Washington has asserted influence on American institutions, they've often led to compliance or negotiations. We'll have to wait and see if FIFA or the IOC follow suit, or if Trump even follows through on these ideas. So, what are your thoughts? Do you see Trump's threats as mere political theater, or could they genuinely disrupt global sports? Is it right for a president to mix politics with events like the World Cup, or should sports stay apolitical? Share your opinions in the comments. Do you agree with FIFA's stance that football transcends leaders, or disagree? Let's discuss.